So I'd probably give myself like a 9 on Sodapoppin's WoW knowledge rating system or whatever. And he has a quiz, and I thought it'd be interesting to just go over these. So you could maybe use this as a cheat sheet if you are not as knowledgeable. But none of this is researched. I'm just going to be answering this off the top of my head. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do this. What are world buffs and where can you get them? So the main ones you can get from like Stormwind, Orgrimmar, Booty Bay, ZG Isle, Diremaw North, but there's a lot more than just that. There's also mind control buffs. Like for example, you can get a fire res one in UBRS, and then there's also like Songflower and Fellwood, and then there's even more. There's like a world buff in like BFD, and there's a whole bunch of other mind control buffs you can get. I think you can, or you could get BRD jailbreak buff, and there's so many random world buffs you can get. There's so many, but the main ones are the first ones I listed. LOS, line of sight. It's when a wall, ground, or other object that prevents casting gets in the way of your cast, so you can't cast. Name a way you can interrupt a heal as your class. Shield bash. Name something that your class cannot use that does not have a GCD. I think Blood Rage? I think Blood Rage doesn't have a GCD. What is the cooldown of potions? 2 minutes. What is CC? Crowd control. It's when you like prevent a monster from making any actions by using an ability like Sap or Polymorph or a stun on them. What can you do to prevent dying from fall damage? Let's see. So Lip, Slow Fall, Levitate, Noggin Fogger, Parachute Cloak, Charge, Intercept, Bubble, Bop, accepting a summon. If you're not topped off in health, you can use a potion or any other way to heal yourself, like a Whipper Root or Healthstone, or there's a lot of other forms. I think that's mainly all the ways. What is most accepted as the best AoE class? Generally, I would say I think the answer is Mage. How can you lower the chance of being dazed? Just face them when you're running away. So you can like parry, dodge, whatever. And I think it also affects just the base chance for getting dazed. So as long as you just face the mob when you get hit, decreased chance. What is threat? It is a number that determines, generally speaking, determines who the mob is targeting and attacking. It's pretty complex to calculate and to figure out on the fly. So an add-on does that for us, which usually gives a correct number, but it's technically an estimate of the threat. And then you pull threat at like 110% threat or 130% threat, I believe, for melee or ranged. So if you're ranged and at like 120% threat, if you walk in melee range, you'll pull threat. If a mob is like Frost Nova'd or snared or something and they can't reach their top threat target, they will change targets earlier. They'll ignore that person if somebody else walks in range of them and they only have like melee attacks. What is strafing? It's just like walking sideways, and it's important because walking backwards slows you down, and so generally people prefer to strafe and turn to walk backwards at full speed. Name 3 usable elixirs that you can use right now. Arcane Elixir, Greater Arcane Elixir, Elixir of the Mongoose, I guess. Name 4 enchants in the game. Crusader, stats, greater stats, and minor speed. How much does level 40 mount cost? It's like 100 gold, 100-ish gold. It'll be less if your reputation with your main faction is higher. Why should you downrank spells? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm assuming this is just a basic question. And so in the context of healing, it is to save mana because lower rank spells cost less mana, and if they have the same healing coefficient or still a good healing coefficient, your healing power will carry the mana to heal ratio to make them more mana efficient than higher rank spells. Potion gives you a bonus movement speed. Swiftness potion was considered class's main stat. I assume that's strength as a warrior, but stamina, I guess, as a tank. I think that's what most people would answer for that. I feel like not everybody would agree with that, but I think that's the answer you want. What weapons can your class use? What should your class use? Can't warriors just use like fucking everything? I mean, maybe warriors can't use thrown weapons? I think they could just like use everything. I'm not sure exactly. What should your class use? A shield. Should your class use? I mean, if you're a human, swords. I mean, staves are pretty good when you're leveling because there's a bunch of easy staves you can get, and weapon skill, you know, it's easy to maintain if you just stay with one set of weapons. Doesn't really matter that much what weapons you use. I guess if you're like raiding and you're doing like a single target boss, you want to dual wield, but whatever. Name 3 professions: herbalism, alchemy, and mining. Which profession allows the use of target dummy? Engineering. What is a target dummy? How can it be helpful? A target dummy is when you're about to die in hardcore WoW and then you press it and you forget about every other button you can use to stay alive, and then you end up on a certain YouTube channel. Supposedly, you can use it in Naxxaramas to not die when when your raid gets unlucky and mobs just start attacking random people. But usually people die in that case anyways. Explain the 5-second rule when it comes to mana in combat. You start getting mana ticks back after 5 seconds of your last completed cast of a spell. So if you're playing like a priest, for example, and you're healing somebody, but they're topped off on HP, you can start pre-casting like a heal, and if they don't need it, then you can just cancel the heal, start a new one, and cancel that one, and eventually you start getting mana back if you haven't cast anything for a while. What is Light of Loon? It's an item that you get from a low-level quest. You get 1 per character, and it gives you just enough invulnerability to click it and then click your Hearthstone in your bag and think you're going to survive, but then you realize that there's a half a second gap in between when you click the 2 items, and that any hit you take interrupts your Hearthstone, and then you die. Causes a mob to extend their leash after you've pulled them, hitting them. I believe in Classic WoW it's just attacking them. I'm actually not 100% sure if like Piercing Howl or like just some random debuff would extend their leash, because I haven't played Classic WoW in like 4 years or something, 3 years. I don't know when TBC came out. What is first aid? It is a profession that is heavily underused. It's a way to heal yourself when you're not a healing class or heal somebody else. It saves mana. You can use it in emergencies. You just turn cloth into healing items, and it gets interrupted if you take damage. And it gives a debuff, so you can grief people by if they're going to take damage in a second, you can band-aid them, and then they're going to die because they can't band-aid themselves. It's also cool as a healer, because if you run out of mana, or if you want to get mana from mana ticks, and there's a target you need to heal that is not taking damage, you can actually first aid them. Why is this scary when a mob flees? Because they're going to pull 5 fucking more mobs and you're going to die. If a quest that requires you to enter a cave, what do? You abandon that quest and you go back to grinding mobs that are 7 levels below you. At the lowest level, they're still green to you. Caves are very dangerous. But if you do need to go into the cave, like if you have to do that quest for some reason, you just try to be as safe about it as you can and make sure that you're prepared for mob respawns. What channels do you use to form a dungeon group? In order, I would say it's looking for group. In order of how desperate you are, looking for group, LFG, world, trade, general, global, layer. I think those are all the channels that I would ever use. What is kiting? It's when you just like it's like when you slower CC a mob or something, so you can get distance between them and you just keep running around them so that they can't like melee attack you, for example. Someone asked to mock you for content. Your view count is lower than usual. Well, it can't get lower than 0, so I decline the Makara. What causes fatigue in WoW? What does it do? It's basically you're going outside the soft boundaries of the map limit, and after like 30 seconds or something, it'll start doing damage to you. Like you're drowning. It's a percentage of your health, so you can delay how long it takes to kill you by like healing yourself or drinking potions, whatever. So yeah, it means you're going outside of the bounds of the map pretty much. There are cases where you can actually just heal through it and go wherever you want. So that's why it's a soft limit. How long does breath last underwater? Well, forever if you have like hydrocane or a potion that gives you water breathing or aquatic form. Maybe like 2 minutes as a regular character. Undead maybe have like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, or maybe it's 1 minute and 2 minute for. I don't even know if undead actually have longer water breathing. I haven't played Horde in so long because Alliance is just better if you're a super sweaty player. 3 actually useful add-ons to survive while leveling. I'm gonna say that one. I don't even know what it's called, but it's the Death Heat Map add-on. If you play a lot like me, you kind of already know where people die in the game. But technically, it's good to have the add-on as a reminder so that in case you're not thinking, or maybe you even forgot about a dangerous area, it'll tell you exactly how dangerous it is pretty much based off how many deaths are out there. Number 2, I'm going to say like unit scan. That you can put all sorts of dangerous mobs in unit scan, and if it comes within draw distance of you, it'll make you very aware that there is a dangerous mob near you, such as a Devil Sar. You can use it on like all kinds of rare spawns or dangerous mobs that are like patrolling areas, like in Silithus, for example, or like the Devil Sars in Ungoro. And it could prevent a lot of deaths, actually. A third add-on. How about, let's say like weak auras? No. Let's say lose control. No. Let's say let's say classic cast bars. Classic cast bars will let you see when enemies are casting spells, and it's really useful because you know when to interrupt things, or if you need to interrupt them at all, or if you need to like outrange them. A lot of like leveling mobs have melee spells that like CCU that are really annoying that you can just back up a couple yards and it won't hit you anymore. So there's 3. What does the add-on details recount SCADA do? I don't know what the heck SCADA is, but I assume it's a damage meter. They'll just tell you like how much damage you're doing, DPS you're doing, a lot of other information as well, depending on how detailed the add-on is. It can tell you like how you died or how much damage specific abilities you or an enemy used in an encounter did, if they crit or if they missed or whatever. Gives you a lot of information like that. What are dots? Damage over times. They're abilities that don't deal their damage immediately, but instead over a longer duration of time. For example, an ability might hit for 6 times over 18 seconds. You're a hunter or warlock, your group has jumped down. What do you do before the jump? Okay, so you Eyes of the Beast and you dash and you pull everything until your pet dies, and then you jump down, and then you wait for all the mobs to come towards your group, and as soon as your group does something that pulls the mobs, you feign death, and then you laugh as they all die. Also, you pray your feign death doesn't resist. You laugh as your group dies, and then you stand up and you Hearthstone, and you're like, oh, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I dismissed my pet. What is spell pushback? It's when you get hit by something and it delays your spell from casting by like 0.7 seconds or something. It's reduced by talents, some talents. Fall damage is not percent based. It is percent based. Lava damage is not percent based. I don't know. I don't take damage from lava. You only take damage from lava like at the end game, pretty much, when you have like 4,000 HP already. So it always hits you for like 4-ish, 500-ish. I don't know. Maybe it's like 10% per hit. I don't think it is though. I think it's just flat actually. I never get hit because like you just take one tick and then you just lava jump and you don't get hit anymore. I don't know. I think it's flat actually, but I'm not sure. I have been in the Ironforge lava in like 2005 or whatever when you could just jump off or walk off, just chill. But I don't remember how much damage it does. I don't know if it's percent or not. I think it's not. I think it's flat, but I don't know. Difference between kneading and greeting. Okay, so kneading is what you do when Edgemaster's handguards drop and you say all agreed, and then you take the item and you sell it for 5,000 gold, and you say sorry to all your party members. I sold it for 2,000 gold. Here's your split, and you give them 400 gold, and then you keep 3,400 gold for yourself. Describe what layering is, how it can get you killed. It's when you do /u 22 to 29, and you whisper everybody, hey, I need to test an add-on. Can you invite me to a group, please? Smile. And then they invite you to a group and they say, you're already in a party, leave your party. And then you say, okay, I left, sorry, can you try it now? Then they invite you, and then you get whoosh, teleported to another world. And it's a copy of World of Warcraft, except in this copy, everything's alive around you. And then there also happens to be a devil saw right on top of you, and then you die. The same thing can happen without the /u part, where you just type /layer, and then you just disappear into another world if you have a cool add-on. Write me a macro that targets someone in the guild. I mean, I guess just /target and then a name of someone in the guild. Does that count? I actually don't know how to just target like some random person that is next to you that's in your guild. There might actually be a good way to do that, and I do not know what it is. See, if it was like /target Sodapoppin, for example, if there's a pet named Sodapoppin, it would target the pet. And you could say that the pet's not in the guild, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a perfect answer for that. I don't really know. I also don't really know why you would need... maybe it's just asking for /target. I don't know how to do a fancier one, but there might be a way. Write me a macro that allows you to eat food, eat food and drink water in one button. I guess it would just be /use the name of the food, /use the name of the water. I've actually never made a macro for this, surprisingly. So I'm not actually 100% sure that works, but I assume it does. What do I like and dislike about my current class? Okay, I like that I can just tank dungeons when I need it. And I can do it competently and use cool abilities like Disarm and Thunderclap that most other warriors just have no idea what they are or what they do or why you should use them. What I dislike about the current class is so easy to just randomly die. Like, there's so many just reasons why you might just not get a heal. Like, you're in LBRS and your healer gets interrupted for 15 seconds, and you're like, all right, cool, I can survive 15 seconds. And then they start to cast Holy Light after their interrupter runs out, and then they get interrupted for another 15 seconds. And you're like, ah, shit, for some reason I pulled a mob, and I don't have shield wall, I don't have my potion, and then you, like, die or something. You can also just get, like, crit and, like, parried like Nefarian lands and there's like one healer next to you because your healers in your guild don't understand how dangerous the landing of Nefarian is, and then Nefarian just happens to parry every single ability and attack you use, and also crits and crushes you on every single attack, and then that one healer that's healing you is like casting like a flash of light, and then it's like, oh shoot, he's taking a lot of damage, let me use Holy Light instead, and they start casting Holy Light, and then your life goes even lower, and they're like, oh shit, I can't even finish this holy light cast. I gotta cast like Flash of Light or like Holy Shock. then you heal them for like nothing, and then you die because the heal per second wasn't high enough. Even better way to die randomly, you just charge and you disconnect and you're dead in the graveyard. You just charge a mob or a person or something, and then you're just dead. That's a very cool feature of the warrior class. All right, well, that's it.